Hey, and happy Wednesday with William. So glad you're joining us this morning. As you can see, I have a special guest. This woman is known as both Mrs. Knight and also Master Sergeant Knight. Welcome. How you doing this morning?
Hey, sir. Good morning, and thank you for having me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing super, and hope every bear out there is doing fantastic as well. Hey, I brought you on this morning to just talk a little bit about women's history, and maybe just so students know who you are, tell us about what you've got going on in the background there behind you, because that will reveal what you do here on campus.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. So as I slide the screen so you guys can get a better view, this is actually the Junior ROTC in the back corner of our world here on TVHS. This is the Junior ROTC main classroom. So if you guys come back here and check us out, you'll see all of these nice paintings from students that came before.
Well, go Bears and go AFJROTC. Hey, Mrs. Knight, so tell us, what does women's history mean to you?
Well, sir, when I think about Women's History Month, I really think it's just a time of reflection and really to take intentional observation of all the great work of women who have came before me. Our present time to include myself is to honor those who will come in the future. So I just think it's a great opportunity to appreciate and honor all of the women that are in our lives.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, who do you think about when you think about women's history and people who have had probably some of the deepest impact on you?
Well, I grew up, and when I think about women's history and the impact, my most influential person and my number one woman is my mother. My mom was a single parent mom. I grew up in a predominantly female ran household and neighborhood from small town Mississippi. So in my life, my mom has been my biggest encourager, supporter. She literally taught me to be and do things that she wasn't able to do in her lifetime. And so those are the same goals that I instill with my future influencer and probably the person I work hardest for, which is my daughter, Brianna. So those are my most influential women in my personal life journey. But when I think about growing up and being in school and learning about so many magnificent women in history, one of my favorite women in history to talk about is Harriet Tubman. And that's simply because she was so awesome. I mean, she was a woman of the faith like me. And she really exuded like you could do anything that you set your mind to. So I appreciate all women in history, but those two in particular, my mom, and I would say historical figure will be Harriet Tubman.
Hey, that's fantastic. And there's so much to learn about that wonderful historical figure. Hey, let me ask you this, though. If you were to think about women today that you think will make history, like in the next 50 years, we'll still remember them, who do you think about and why would you select that person?
Well, I also think, I told you about Harriet Tubman, which is my historical figure. I always have loved Oprah. Let me tell you guys some fun facts. Me and Oprah Winfrey, both from Mississippi.
Let's hear them. Let's hear them.
Me and Oprah Winfrey, both born on January 29th. She's a little bit more seasoned than I, but I've always looked up to her drive and just coming from basically nothing, her upbringings to where she was able to go in her life. And so I love Oprah for that. And also, I think about Michelle Obama when we talk about the history books. When I think about being a career woman and a family woman, Michelle Obama does it with grace and such character that that's a person who I like to emulate in my everyday life because she taught us how to balance both her work career and having a family. And she also taught us how to, no matter what people say about you or what critics say, to handle everything. One of her favorite quotes is when they go low, we go high. And I try to live by that motto myself. So in history, definitely those two women will be going down in the history books of two of my favorites.
Well, Mrs. Knight, as we close up here, I just want to say I'm so glad that our Golden Bear students have an opportunity to be around you. I think you're really creating a history with a lot of our students, and they'll be able to look back to how you've served students on this campus in the very short time that you've been with us. But we were closing out our interview in talking about Women's History Month. Anything you want to say to the Golden Bear family as we wrap up?
Yes, sir. Thank you again for having me on this morning. Go to Bears. I just want to encourage you to keep pursuing your dreams, keep pushing no matter the obstacles. I just gave you some clear examples of women in history that, despite all the odds against them, they were able to persevere, overcome, and still do great things. So, like we say, go Bears and keep being great.
Awesome. Hey, Mrs. Knight and our Golden Bear family, have a golden Wednesday. See you now.